WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Click live stream tab or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube, WCEG Network. I am Damita Chatman, your show host of Take a Stand for the next hour. We're the Wide World Community Empowerment Group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG Talk Radio and at WCEG Network. Last but least, the topics and opinions are those of the show host and guests and not WCEG Network. Thank you for your continuous support. Good afternoon. We have South Fulton own Captain Andrea Hall today with us. I want to thank you so much for taking the invitation. And I just want to give you some recognition and your flowers for being Our Lady during the inauguration. So Andrea Hall, tell us how it felt going to the inauguration.
Well, it felt awesome. But first of all, I want to say you look awfully beautiful today.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you also for allowing me to come on to the show. I'm really excited because this is about our people here in the city of South Fulton. But going to the inauguration was a very exciting event for me. Like I said before, I've said this a couple times, that it was not something that was on my radar. It wasn't something that I anticipated happening. So when it did, I was just overwhelmed with joy and excitement and anticipation and nervousness and all the emotions that a person could have being asked to participate in such an auspicious event like that.
Well, and what made me proud, just seeing you up there doing your sign language, that was awesome. So where did you learn that from?
Well, I learned it from my dad, actually. I am a child of a deaf adult, which we call CODA. And I learned sign language as a child, a young child.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how many years you been with the fire department?
Well, I've been in the fire service now 28 years. I started in 1993. And I usually don't tell that, but I mean, it's out there now. So since 1993, and I've been with Fulton County since 1999. And then obviously, we became a city in 2017, and then the city of the fire department transitioned over to the city of South Fulton in 2018. So I've been here. I'm a charter member of the city of South Fulton and the city of South Fulton Fire Rescue.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you, how it is being working for the new city of South Fulton?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, it's exciting. Even with the transition, I was filled with a lot of anxious anticipation for what we could be here. I think the city of South Fulton is such a wonderful opportunity for us to create something beautiful. I think just where we're situated in the state of Georgia, what we've been given as a gift in terms of all the raw, undeveloped land, which represents opportunity for future development. I'm just really excited about this gem that we have here called the city of South Fulton.
All right. Well, let me ask you, I know when you did that the inauguration, I'm quite sure that America just reached out to you. Give me some of that good, I know it's all positive. Just give me some of that positive feedback that you got.
Oh, well, so let me say this. First, I went there as a firefighter. I was going to represent the firefighters. And I came away being sort of an advocate for deaf and hard of hearing people. Oh, wow. So I got a lot more than I bargained for by doing that. So just to give you a little history, when I was asked to participate and to do the pledge, one of the reasons I decided to sign is because I do have family members and friends who are a part of the deaf and hard of hearing community. And I wanted to make sure that they were able to be included in that process. I didn't know if they were going to have interpreters at the White House. And even if they did, that part I just wanted to share with my family and friends. So by doing that, it opened up this huge discussion about access and about inclusion. And I had no idea that that was going to happen. So as a result of that, I received so much feedback and calls from people that were hard of hearing and deaf. I've gotten calls from people as far away as Germany and Ireland and Australia and Japan, thanking me for signing the pledge, because they said that it really made them feel a part of that process. And then obviously I've gotten a lot of recent attention locally. And so I'm appreciative of that. I'm appreciative that anything that I have done provided an opportunity for other people to feel something positive about that, to feel included, and then to open up the conversation about that nationally, about how we are treating one another. If I was able to contribute to that, I'm very thankful for that. I'm very grateful.
Oh, great, great. So just tell me, did you get to see the president? Shake his hand?
I did. No, I didn't shake his hand, but I fist bumped with him.
All right.
I got to do 2 fist bumps with the president. He's a pretty cool person, you know. And I got an opportunity to meet the Obamas, the Bushes, the Clintons. Got an opportunity to take pictures with a lot of those people. And because of security, for security reasons, I really wasn't able to fraternize too much with the VP and the president, but I did get an opportunity to speak with them briefly. And then obviously to share the stage with them. It was very, very wonderful. I met Lady Gaga and J-Lo and all the talent, Amanda Gorman. It was just a really great event. And the beauty of it is that everybody was very warm. The whole event, you could feel the anticipation of this new change. It was palpable in the air, and everybody was just, it's like going back to your family reunion where you see your cousins that you hadn't seen in a while, and it's like, oh, it's all love, right? So that's how it was. It was a great experience.
Oh, great, great. So tell me, I know your parents was happy. What did they think about you going there?
Yes, my parents were very happy. Unfortunately, my father passed away 2 years ago, so he wasn't able to witness it. But yeah, thank you. But the rest of my family, I got so many shout outs and calls. And one of the biggest things, I have a cousin, you know, I wasn't on social media before this, so I didn't know anything about Facebook and all this stuff. So one of my cousins sent a video of them watching me do this, and I could hear her in the background crying, saying, oh, she's signing, she's signing. So they were very happy. They were very happy, and they were touched emotionally because of our history with the deaf and hard of hearing community.
Okay. Well, I did my research, and I know you got a grandma living. So what grandma thought about a baby?
So my grandmother is a little bit of a comedian, right? So she was saying to me, baby, when you go do the pledge now, don't drag it out too long. Don't try to take up all your 15 minutes. And so when I got back home and she saw that I signed it, she said, you found a way to get them 15 minutes, didn't you? So she was very happy. She was very happy. But my grandmother's something else.
Oh, it's good to have a grandmother.
It is.
Let me ask you, what do you see in the next 10 years? Do you think another woman to go to do the same thing you done?
I would hope so. I think what has happened in this inauguration sets the precedence, and I think it sets the foundation and the stage for others to do that. Not so much the signing, but to do whatever their original thing is, to be a part of that process. Yes, I certainly think so. And I think this administration, our current administration, is leading the charge on doing what they say as it relates to being inclusive and to diversifying that administration and to doing things that make everybody in this country feel a part of the country. I think they're putting forth best efforts to do that. I don't think it's just talk. I see that happening. Okay. So yes, I do.
Okay.
And so I don't think it'll be 10 years. I don't think it'll be 10 years.
You don't think it'll be 10 years?
No, I think it's warp speed at this point.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm be looking for that. Now I know when you went there, I'm quite sure you had little girls come up to you, asking you questions. What were some of the questions that them babies was asking? Because I know they had to ask you some questions.
Well, they have. I mean, the biggest question they've asked me is, do I share the bathroom with the guys? I thought that was pretty interesting. They were like, where do you use the bathroom? Anyway, so, but more importantly, what they've come to me and said is, hey, I want to be a firefighter, or you made me want to be a firefighter. And, you know, they want to talk to me. They want me to come to their schools. They want me to represent what that would look like for them. And now that has been the most touching thing for me, for the younger women to come and say, hey, you have inspired me, or I have never seen anyone that looks like you before. I was in Alabama taking a class, and we were going to lunch, and there were some women in the restaurant. They stopped by my table and they said, we've never seen first of all, a woman firefighter, but definitely not a Black woman firefighter. Never.
Wow.
And I thought that was like, wow, so we have some work to do.
Oh, yes.
Where that's concerned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree with that. Now, going to the inauguration, what did you expect out of that? Did you get what you expected out of that?
Well, I got a whole lot more than what I expected, to be honest with you. I expected to go there, do my little part, and come back home to obscurity. You know, I did not expect any of what came as a result of that, any of the attention, any of the notoriety. I didn't expect that. So I got much more than that, more than I could have anticipated. And then I developed some long-term relationships with people that I met there, which is always a benefit. Relationships, you know, positive relationships is always a plus. So yeah, okay. Much more than I anticipated.
Okay. Well, I watched, I think that you were getting a proclamation. And I watched that. I think they broke you down a little bit at that proclamation.
So
yes. That was a big surprise, wasn't it?
Yes, my coworkers, I tell you. Yes, that was a huge surprise. What they got David Cowan to come and interpret for me. That was such an awesome surprise, because David is deaf, and I did not know that. How do you not know that? But yeah, David is deaf, and that is such a significant thing, because he is a deaf interpreter. And I think you got to kind of let that sink in. A person who can't hear who's interpreting. Mm-hmm. There's a process for that. But that's one of the things in the deaf and hard of hearing community. And it's similar to us, where you have, I don't want to say this and sound controversial, but I'm going to say it this way. You know how back in the day when they would make movies about Black people, but they would put other people in white blackface, or they would make a movie that was about Indians, but they would put another ethnic group. So it's the same thing with deaf people. They would have hearing people interpreting, but that's really an opportunity that could have gone to a deaf person. So when I saw that, I was so overwhelmed with emotion, partly because he reminded me of my father. Like a lot of people, a lot of deaf people and hard of hearing people vocalize. And he was doing that. It just reminded me of my father. And in that moment, all of that just came over me, and I just was overwhelmed with emotion. But that was the most wonderful surprise I've gotten since all of this happened.
Okay. So do you see in the city of South Fulton that they open up a school to learn how to sign language?
Oh, that would be so awesome if they would put that in the schools, or at least add it as a potential curriculum. I mean, we teach Spanish. You have the option as an elective for Spanish and French and German and all those other languages. I certainly think ASL should be included in that as an option.
Okay. Okay. Well, you'll make a good instructor then.
I mean, you know,
that can be something that you can do during the summer with them kids.
Absolutely. Well, I'm certainly advocating for it, for sure.
Oh, that'd be great. So let me ask you, since you're a firefighter, have you rode on the back of that truck? How is riding on the back of that truck? I just want to know,
riding on the back of the truck.
Yeah. Well, have you ever been on the back of that truck?
Yes, I've been on the back of that truck for many, many years. I was on the back of the truck when there was no back of the truck, when we were hanging on to the back of the truck. And
you weren't scared?
No, I've never been scared. That's probably how I ended up here. I mean, if I hadn't been scared, I would have gone and got me a desk job or something. But no, I was never scared. Okay. But yeah, I haven't ridden on the back lately, other than, you know, to allow some on-the-job training for other people. And I do miss that sometimes. I miss the high action that comes with that. But you know, I'm getting a little older now.
Okay.
And it's time to move out of that spot and let somebody else have it.
Now you remember the show that was it back in the day? I'm probably telling my age. It was based out of it was based out of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Was it firefighters? What was the name of
It
that
was
show?
firefighters. I don't know if that was Emergency or what the name of it. But
Emergency.
They play
Yes.
replays of it right now. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was. So and that was I used to watch that show. So tell me, have you ever took the hose? I just want to know. You and drug that hose?
Yes. Listen, I'm a firefighter for real. I'm not faking this. This is real life. Yeah, this is what I do. So yes, I have taken the hose. We have. So let me just say this. I don't know, because sometimes I think there's a misconception about what firefighters do. People think we sit around and eat chili all day and cook and, you know, take naps and watch movies. But this is a pretty serious job. You know, we are definitely here to serve and protect the citizens in this community. So yes, as a firefighter, and that's another thing, the firefighters do so many things. I think they do think all we do is fight fire, but we respond to disaster and like natural disasters. We respond to, if you call me right now and say, hey, my faucet is leaking. I probably shouldn't be telling people this part though. My faucet is leaking and I can't get it off. You know, we will come and help you with that. Now, we're not plumbers, but we stayed at a Holiday Inn Express one time, so that qualifies us. You know what I mean? But we're Jacks and Jackies of all trades. That's the beauty of the fire service or the fire department, having a fire department in your municipality. So we don't just fight fires, but we rescue people from imminently dangerous situations. We do hazardous materials responses. We provide first responder training for the citizens. We do any number of things. I mean, now I'm drawing a blank, but the short answer is yes. I have carried a hose. I have fought fire before.
Well, I know you do a lot because I'm not gonna say I know some people in the city of South Fulton. I ain't gonna tell you where they live at, but they used to call the fire department to go and get them some grocery.
Did we go get it?
I think they did show up a couple times.
Sometimes, that's right. But I mean, we do everything. We do. So we do community risk reduction, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, I'm sure. Where we go out and we do education for the public. We do inspections. We do investigations. We do any number of things. And on my side of the house, where I work in field operations, I run all the emergency calls, and we also do emergency medical calls. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but we're kind of like the hospital or the healthcare workers in this community, because I think our closest hospital may be in South Fulton, in East Point. So we are like the first line of healthcare defense in the city of South Fulton. So yeah, we provide a plethora of services that are really necessary and important to our community. And I'm on the front line of all of that.
Okay, and I want to thank you. I had a chance to kind of deal with you guys a couple weekends. I'm gonna give y'all an A+.
Okay,
y'all, they were awesome. They were awesome.
Yes,
they were awesome. Even when I told them, I said, y'all call my mayor, tell him where I'm at. They were awesome. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. How is it just being? How many days do you have to stay at the fire department?
So we work what they call a 24/48 schedule, right? Where we are on duty for 24 hours from 7 in the morning to 7 the next morning. And then we're off for 2 days or for 48 hours. So we generally work about 10 days a month. Okay. Without any overtime or anything like that. But there are 3 shifts of us. So somebody's on duty always, 24/7. There's always someone at the fire station. Okay.
Well, I'm kind of pulling some stuff that I know folks will ask. Oh, where do you sleep? Where do you sleep at when you're there? I'm thinking about emergency, how they used to, when they get that call, they jump up.
Right.
So is it a place where do each one of you guys have your own rooms or just like cots?
So in the newer stations, I think they've been very mindful of how important it is for people to have a certain level of privacy. In some of our older stations, we still have open bays, but they've done some things now to try to separate that to give us a little bit of privacy. But the way that we work in the fire stations is just like we have a regular business day, like anybody else. So from 8 to 5, we're doing regular business stuff that we have to do. And generally, we don't bed down until later in the evening, 7, 8, 9 p.m. And everybody has their own bed. We do, in some stations, still have to share bathrooms, but they're divided in stalls and stuff like that. So we're very mindful of each other's privacy. We try to not, we're very respectful of each other in that way.
Okay. So y'all basically do it like the military do it.
Right, absolutely. That's how we do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How often do you guys go out to training?
We actually train every day. We're required to train at least 2 hours a day. And then we have some certain requirements by the state of Georgia. And then there are best practices in terms of training. So we try to adhere to those training modalities. And we have a training division that's devoted to that. So they put out a training calendar, and then each station, each person is required to train so many hours per year.
Okay, well, I watch a lot of TV, so I'm just thinking how they do it on TV. Do y'all go set a house on fire and then put it out?
Well, we used to do that. We did used to do that, but we have now training facilities. We have facilities that are dedicated to training that we utilize, that we can simulate those activities. So that's what we do now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually, you can climb that rope too?
Oh yeah, I can do anything they can do. Oh yeah, so right. Yeah, I climb the rope, crawl on my belly and throw the ladders and put out the fires. Yeah, all of it.
Okay. So do y'all have the kind of training in high school? I know, like where I come from, they have, like, we call it vocational. Right. Do y'all do that in the school system out here?
Well, so a lot of municipalities do, and that's one of the things that I think that we're gearing up to work on now is they call them explorer programs. And I think we're working together with our community risk reduction division, and we'll have some further discussion on that a little later in the program. But I think they're working to develop a program that we can put in the schools and give the children access to what we do, and give them almost a pipeline into the fire department as a career. So I know Westlake High School, we've partnered with them on some things in recent times, and they have a program where the children learn CPR and they get their certifications, and we're able to go over and do some training and mentoring with them. So they've been great partners for us.
Okay. Just you just said something about CPR. Can constituents go to the fire station and learn CPR?
Well, we have a division that the constituents can reach out to, and they can work together with them to put on a class. I don't think we do one-offs like that. I think it's a group of people that would have to get together, and then they'll do the training for them.
So just say homeowners, HOAs and schools, you can sign up a group and y'all can teach them how to do.
Yes, I think we have some CPR instructors. I'm actually a CPR instructor, and I think we have some other CPR instructors that are on the department who could arrange that. Yes, and it works better in groups for sure.
Okay. So when you at the station and say someone want to just bring you guys food or water, how do y'all accept that?
Well, lately, because of COVID, that's been a little bit of a challenge because we've restricted visitation at the fire stations. So we, in previous times, that was just making a phone call and saying, hey, we want to come by and bring you something. And we appreciated those gestures, obviously, but now because of what we're dealing with COVID, we probably wouldn't be able to accept anything without prior communication with the fire chief.
Okay. Would you guys do any in the future, I guess after COVID, like they used to bring the fire trucks out? I call it Daffy Duck. with in my time it was Daffy. I'm probably telling my age. You know what? You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yes, we do. That's a part of our community outreach. So we do provide fire engines for several events for the schools. Sometimes children have events or HOAs have events and they'll request us. And those things still may be able to be requested through our community risk reduction division. I know that we were doing during COVID when people would have birthday parties and stuff like that, because they couldn't come to the fire station anymore. We would go out to them and be properly socially distanced and allow them to still view the fire truck. So there are ways we've tried to do our best to continue that as much community outreach as we could safely, considering the circumstances. So that would be something that we would route through that community risk reduction division.
Do y'all check people's blood pressure at the fire station? Just if somebody.
That is a service that we provide. And like I said, right now, I'm not sure if we are allowing people in the stations anymore because of COVID. If it's something that's really emergent, then obviously we would treat them. But if it's just a blood pressure check, we would probably direct them to a facility or to their primary care physician.
Okay. I know once I had a ring that swole on my hand, and I couldn't get that ring off. And I went to a fire station in San Diego, and they cut it off. Do y'all do the same thing here?
Yes, we do. We have ring cutters for that purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that for you.
How has COVID how y'all dealing with the COVID situation?
You know, COVID has been wow, such a devastating pandemic for a lot of people on a global scale. And so we certainly have been affected locally, just like the rest of the world. You know, a lot of the people that I work with, they've had family members that have been affected directly or indirectly. We've lost people as a result of it. And because we are first responders, we've taken sort of an oath to continue to serve and protect regardless of the circumstances. But we've all been affected, you know, adversely by the pandemic. And I think we owe the first responders here and wherever a huge debt of gratitude, because they've continued to come to work regardless, because they, you know, with all the uncertainty that was around COVID, we had questions too. How is this going to affect us short-term, long-term? You know, how much exposure should we be allowing ourselves to have? Do we have the proper equipment? Are we, you know, all those things were questions for us as well. But even with the questions, they still came to work every day and did their job with dignity and professionalism. And I think everybody should know that and really give the first responders a shout out for that.
And I agree with you. We're gonna bring the other two in on now, and then we'll go into the questions. We just want to give you a little time, thanking you for who are you? Just who you are. You was awesome.
Thank you.
I would have thought I had sent my child to the White House when I saw you. I think I got a little teary. And but at the same time, when I was tearing up, I got me a bottle of champagne. So again, we're gonna bring your coworkers on, and again, just keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Keep on doing what you're doing. I think they should be coming on shortly.
Okay.
Yes. I believe in giving folks their flowers. I don't believe in waiting till they laid out and tell folks how I don't like them. I like to let them know I don't like them when they're living.
Well, I know that's right. And I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. I like orchids.
Oh, you like orchids?
I do.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you an orchid before you, I might see you some orchids. You deserve a whole lot of orchids.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What health challenges does the firefighter face with smoke and firefighting?
You know, that is a significant, and that's actually a good question, because some of the more significant challenges that we face are cancer related, heart disease, any number of health challenges that we face just by virtue of being on the job and doing the hazardous work, but it's also the stress associated with doing the hazardous work. And that's one of the things with COVID, it has compounded that amount of stress that we would normally be under. So there are significant challenges that we face. And I think even more so for women firefighters, that those numbers might be a little bit more exponential.
Okay.
Hey,
I
Chief.
see Chief is on. Chief Dingler, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Lieutenant Rowe expressed her apology. She's running behind a moment. She was teaching a class, so she'll be with us shortly.
Okay, well, we're going, and just she'll jump in when she get here. But I want to hear. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Chief.
Well, I started in the fire service as a volunteer in 1989, and I became a career firefighter in 93 with Fulton County Fire Rescue. I spent almost 25 years with Fulton County before we moved over to the city of South Fulton. I have a background, my bachelor's is in criminal justice. My second bachelor's is in fire safety and engineering technology from the University of Cincinnati. I have an associate's in fire science, and my master's degree is in public administration. In 1999, I was promoted to a fire lieutenant, relatively young, and at the age of 29. And I have been dedicated to the fire service all my life. Shortly thereafter, I became the captain with Fulton County, and I stayed a captain until Fulton County dissolved its fire department in 2018. When I moved over to the city of South Fulton, and I became the first promotion of the city of South Fulton's fire department when I became the fire marshal in January of 2019. I currently serve as the fire marshal, and it's a challenging job in a very growing city. And I look forward to the opportunities that we're going to have in our future. It's a very positive place, and we have a new chief that is becoming very supportive of not just the people in the fire department, but of the citizens that we're to reach out, educate, and assist. So I really love the fire department. My father was a fireman. I grew up in Georgia in a rural area, and I humbly dedicate myself to the service of the fire department.
All right, all right. I heard you say you went to Cincinnati. How you like that up in Ohio?
I liked it all but winters. Being Southern born and bred, it's kind of hard to do winters for me, but Cincinnati was nice.
Okay. We're gonna go on to the questions, and I'm gonna ask Captain Hall this one. How do we get more women and girls to consider a career in the fire service? And then I ask, go back to you, Chief.
Well, I think the first thing is making this more visible to them. I think they have to see examples. That's the first thing. And then I think there has to be some active recruitment toward that end. We do a lot of public education. And I think that's something that we can work a little bit better on, developing programs that demonstrate why the fire service is a great career for women and little girls. And I think we start that at an earlier age. We do a lot of fire safety training with preschoolers and kindergartners and third graders and fifth graders. And I think those are conversations that we can have with children at that level to start developing their ideas about where they would like to go in terms of a career. I think at the high school and the college level, that is more about recruitment, about preparing them for a career in the fire service. Everybody's not going to go to college right out of high school. And this is a very viable career for those students. But the beautiful thing about the fire service is that it weaves them right back around to having to go to college and complete their professional development. So I think we have to do a better job of developing programs that increase the interest in the fire service as a career. And then I think we have to design some of those things around young women and little girls.
Okay. I just remember that it was called Mr. Griff.
Right, Mr. Griff, that's right. I remember Mr. Griff, yes.
Okay, Chief Dangler, what you think about that? How would you answer that question?
I think if we wish to recruit females into the fire service, we need to build a program that introduces them to the challenges of the fire service. Take a program like a Fire Explorers, kind of, another division of the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, where at a teenage, they're introduced to the skills and the medical training in which that is required for the fire service. Getting to be a positive role model for young women to see women out in the fire service, maybe doing camps that allow young women to see what it's like to come in the fire service with both women and male firefighters, showing them the challenges and the good side of the fire service. It does take a dedication to the fire service, and it is a challenge. And one of the things that the fire service also has to give, is that career orientated, something where people can build to a fulfilling career and a fulfilling retirement, because those things are important to build on the attributes of the fire service in a positive light, reach out to our communities, be that positive role model, and invite young teenagers into explorer type programs so they can really see what the skills are and our challenges are.
Okay, well, you probably stole half of my question, so I'm gonna let you start answer this one first. Who have been your career role model in the fire service?
For myself, it began with my father. He all my life was dedicated to his community. And after a while, my mother quit coming to even pick me up off the fire grounds, because when his pager went off, I was already in his truck before he got there. So as I advanced and went to school, my background I thought was law enforcement, but I am a police officer also. I'm mandated, but when I went to college and got my master's, even one of my advisors was like, and he was a cop. He says, you have such a, passion for the fire service. You need to continue with that. And so I did. And I would say William Kramer from the University of Cincinnati, who was the director of the program, has been a supporting person to me for a very long time throughout my career. And I would say each and every chief that I've had, from Chief R.T. Strong to Chief Daniels to Chief Few, all along the way we've learned different lessons, and they've been models for how the fire service is and how to move forward. And I've had good captains who, in the beginning, I would say they were the Vietnam vets, they were the hardcore, Marine type personalities, but it helped me be strong in the fire service. So I would say the fire service has contributed a lot to me to become the person I have.
Okay, so I know you named a few of the military men, and so I know how it is because I'm married to a Marine, so I know how they are. So the question is at you now, Captain Hall.
Okay, so you were asking who has influenced me, or who
was your career role model?
I think so my trajectory was a little bit different than the chiefs. I never saw any firefighters when I was younger. I did not have access to anyone in the fire service. I was in my first year in college when I saw someone and recognized that this was a viable option for me. I had a cousin who worked for the fire department, and I just happened to ride by and I said, hey, what do you do? And he sort of issued a challenge to me, and I was 19 years old at the time. And that's how I got involved in the fire service. And there have been, like the chief said, there have been several people along the way who have seeded into me and that have helped me to get to the place that I am. My very first training officer, Matthew Jefferson, if it had not been for him, I would not have made it, because my first foray into the fire service, their thing was, we run women off from here. We don't want them around here. We're going to run you off too. So that just made me much more determined. But there were people who came to my aid, and they really supported me in my professional development and in my growth. Chief R.T. Strong gave me an opportunity to come to Fulton County, and I appreciate him for that. Chief David Daniels gave me an opportunity to be a leader in this department. And so many other people that I've met along the way that have, Chief Tony Washington, who is a fire chief now in the city of Decatur. We have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with a lot of the women in the metro area. There were women in the city of Atlanta that supported me when they would have their spaghetti dinners, because I didn't know any women. When I was in Albany, there was nobody else that looked like me. So the closest women that I had access to were those here in the city of Atlanta. And I appreciate those women for embracing me and letting me know that this really was a viable professional career option for a woman. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, since y'all keep getting into my questions and nobody's, don't nobody know these questions but me, you just keep digging. So I'm gonna come with you, Captain Hall, and then I go back to the chief. During your career in the fire service, have you ever experienced discrimination in the workplace as a woman and / as a Black woman, and how have you coped with it?
Unfortunately, yes, I have. Just as a woman, I think it's challenging for any woman to enter an environment that has been historically all male. Because we know what that's like. I mean, as a woman, we're different. We're oriented differently sometimes. So you either have to assimilate to the environment to be successful, or you accept that you're going to be the outlier in that environment, and you do the things that are going to get you where you need to be successfully without losing what makes you a woman in the fire service. There have been a lot of casualties, but I think for me, I have experienced it very acutely when it comes to promotional opportunities, when it comes to opportunities for professional development that are supported by organizations, when it comes to training and development. Yes, I feel so. And I think as a Black woman, and this is just globally speaking, I think there are doubly those challenges that are associated with race, not just your gender, but that are compounded by that racial element. And I've experienced all of that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna say I watch TV. So you know how they used to do the pranks?
Right. Yeah. Hazing and pranking.
When you knew on some, did you ever go through that experience of being pranked?
Well, let me say this. I drew a hard line in the sand early on about stuff like that, because some stuff, is related to your safety, and you just don't want to get involved in things like that, because sometimes they can go left and it can cause a lot of problems. So I drew a hard line in the sand early on when it came to hazing and pranking, but that's a part of the fire department culture. And I can't say that I've ever really looked down upon it. I just didn't participate in any of it. And you asked earlier, how did I cope with a lot of the discrimination?
Yeah.
Some of it, one thing is that when I took on this challenge of being a firefighter, I really committed to that process. And I think when you commit to something, you understand that there are going to be challenges that come along with that. And so you're not going to just give up because you are being challenged. And then you do plug into that network of people that support you, my family, my friends, those people that we've mentioned before, those chiefs that saw the value in me, that were willing to support me. You turn to those people when you are dealing with adversity. And those are the things that I did. And just try not to allow this stuff to make you bitter, because it will. There's only so much. And I think even when you talk with Chief Dingler, she'll be able to share with you too, the amount of pushback that you get, whether it's direct or indirect, it can have a really long-term negative effect on you emotionally, mentally, socially. And so I think you really do have to be a strong person to be in this business and to thrive in it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm gonna go to the chief and ask Chief the same question. How did you deal with it as a woman and as a white woman? How did you deal with it, Chief?
Well, Captain Hall is correct. There is a lot of pushback. Even when I became a volunteer, I was the only woman, and I was a woman in college, and it was very devastating not to have a support network. And I think that's what pushed me into a career job. And when I came, I was actually the number 3 or number 4. They hired 2 women we started in January of 1994. They hired 2 women. Both of us were named Donna, and one was white and one was black. And we both went to college together and both had a criminal justice degree. And I would say, because she was a friend of mine, our paths were very different in the fire service. You know, guys did do pranks, and they may set your bed up to fall, and they may, it's a culture, that somewhere either you're going to fit in or you are going to ask one of them to step outside, because it was it seemed like sometimes like a real battle royale. But, people realize that if you have to be strong and you stick with it. There's some people's minds and attitudes you may never change, but as you develop, I remember one of the guys who picked on me, all the time. And it was funny because he was the first person who stood up in one of my EMT classes and said, and he had more years on the department than me, that you better be careful who you pick on, because one day they may be your supervisor. And then that's true. It does make you a different person. And the fact is that you look for a network. And I say women have to be a more positive network for women in the fire service. And we've had more casualties than I would like to, think about along the way in the fire service, just in Fulton County alone. Women who felt that there was a better place to be, that it was a lot of push, it takes a lot of determination. And I saw the culture change, but sometimes I think I was a part of that changing culture. But even though you did it kind of by knocking your head into a wall a few times, and I would hope that, and I have seen that our culture and our acceptance has changed, but inadvertently, sometimes you do get discriminated against, because you're sitting there and you're dealing with a culture, and you may offer them the best suggestion in the world, and all of a sudden, they just kind of blatantly ignored, and all of a sudden somebody else in the room, male, may speak up and say the same thing, and they go, hey, that's a great idea. And you're like, is it me, or is it just the culture of men that they didn't hear the words that came? But it is very challenging, and it can be very disheartening at times. But the fire service is probably one of the most absolutely honorable professions that give you just an absolute rush in what you do, what you serve, the people you serve, and the profession that it is. And I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh, awesome. Before I go on, Lieutenant Rowe is on. Lieutenant Rowe, if you activate your video camera, please.
I'm sorry, I'm driving.
Okay, you driving? Okay, that's fine. We gonna ask you a question. Stay on the same question. During your career in the fire service, have you experienced discrimination as a woman/Black woman in the workplace, and how have you coped with it?
I can't really say outright. Well, somewhat. Well, it's kind of hard to say. I will say this.
I like to be honest. That's why I like to take a stand. Just honest. We ain't gonna hold it against you.
No. I will say this, for the most part, coming up in Valdosta, where I came up, for the most part, my brothers down there, they were very respectful. I think I was different for most of them, because I I was only the second Black woman in the fire department down there. So they were not. I didn't have to deal with any of that hazing or anything like that. So you know, my experience was different. Everybody has a different experience, and maybe it could be that I'm looking most of them in the eye. I'm 5'9", so
Oh,
most
wow.
of them wouldn't. Most of them wasn't gonna try me anyway. So you know, I'm not an easy target. Let me put it that way.
All right, all right. I hear you. I hear you. Let me ask you why you on. How many women work for South Fulton Fire Department? That's a question from Facebook.
It's
I
12.
think Chief Dingler tonight. Yeah.
It's 12.
It's
12.
There are 12 women. 12.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Rowe, let me ask you this question. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Basically, I came up in Valdosta. That's my hometown. Born and raised down there. Graduated from VSU, the university, in 2005. Joined the fire service in 2013. Loved everything about it. You know, hate I joined it late, but I didn't know. So, you know, but once I got in it, I tried to catch up. So it's one of those things that where I move pretty quickly, and that can be intimidating sometimes to the fellas when they see a woman passing them by, you know. You know, but I worked hard. Nobody gave me anything. So everything you see on my resume and on my work experiences is through hard work. It wasn't handed to me. I promise you that. But I will say this: I came to South Fulton in March of last year. I've enjoyed it. You know, meeting the people and learning the area and just being able to share my knowledge. Matter of fact, that's why I'm late to class to you guys' interview today, because I was actually teaching a class, caregiver, and that's one of the things I love to do. I love teaching.
Okay.
I enjoy all aspects of what I do. I do inspections. I get to meet people in the community that way. I also meet people during fire investigations. That's usually the rough time when I'm meeting people when I got to go and investigate the fire. But you know, I always tell them I'd rather meet you when I'm teaching or when I'm inspecting your business. I don't want my first time to meet you is when I'm coming to try to determine cause and origin of the fire.
Awesome, awesome. I'm asking you this question, same question I asked him. Who have been your career role model in the fire service?
Oh, that's easy. The chief that hired me, that's gonna be Chief Rice. He hired me in Valdosta. Really and truly, I always tell his story. It was funny because I didn't even know he was the fire chief. I met him in a kind of a, you know, casual setting, and there were quite a few chiefs there because some of them were former military. So it seemed like everybody had the title chief, you know. So didn't know he was the fire chief, and we're just kind of joking around and ended up going from there. But he ended up taking a chance on me, and he didn't give me the job. He gave me the opportunity, and I earned the job. But him and definitely Chief Broom. I worked under Chief Freddie Broom. He came here and left me, is what I like to tell him. But he gave me an opportunity to come to an area where he was excited about coming here because he saw the potential for so much growth. And I'm glad he brought me here because I see it as well. There's a lot that I'm looking forward to doing in this community and bringing to the community as far as the education and the you know, the level of what we're doing right now in the community risk reduction division. Just seeing some of the things that we're running into and what we're making better right now.
Well, I'm glad you like the city of South Fulton. That's why we fought so hard, and I was one of the ones fought for it. Started back in 2005, so I'm glad you like it because I love it. Even when I'm raising a little cane, I still love city of South Fulton. Let me ask you guys. Since Lieutenant Rowe had just got on, and we got a couple more questions, if you don't mind, we're gonna run over maybe like 20 minutes. To just give y'all, because this is also Women Month, so I want to give you all the shine during this month. And you took your day out, so I want to give it to you, if that's okay with you guys.
That's
Uh,
okay.
what aspects of the job appeals to you the most? And I'm gonna go to in the least. I'm gonna go to the chief first.
Think the challenges, not only just the physical challenge, but the mental challenge, the ability that you have to consume a lot of knowledge only to turn around to make split second decisions. It has that appeal. There's nothing like serving people, and there's um, in people's time of tragedy and emergency, we are the calm of that chaos. And to be able to do that is fantastic. And that's what I enjoy about the fire service.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Captain Hall on that same question.
I think much like Chief Dingler said, one of the gifts that is given to us as a result of being in the fire service is our ability to remain calm in the midst of the greatest chaos. And I think being able to affect people to such a great level where they are appreciative of the service that we provide to them. We meet people on some of their worst days when they're having some of the most some of the worst things that have ever happened to them, and we're there to provide life-saving service sometimes, and then to get the feedback from them saying, hey, just like when we were talking earlier and you said your guys get an A+ because they came and helped me out.
Oh,
that sort of
absolutely.
thing is what makes our job worth it. It makes everything else we go through worth it. Having an opportunity to interface with the community and give them life-saving information, being able to be a part of a community that appreciates the work that we do. All those things are important. And then like the chief said, the professional development that we get, the training that we get, those things are the things that we take with us wherever we go. Those things will never leave us. So I appreciate the camaraderie even. This certainly is I don't think we can say brotherhood anymore. I don't think that's politically correct, but this is certainly a family. And I appreciate that aspect of it for sure.
Okay, Lieutenant Rowe, we're gonna go to you now. What you think about that?
Well, I mean, really just piggybacking on what they've already said. It is truly an honor to be in the fire service. I'm humbled every day by the privilege that I get to serve. You know, what greater thing can you do than to serve your fellow man or woman? You know, so I think, you know, for me, it is my calling. You know, I do it, and I love what I do. I just told Chief Dingler the other day. I told him, Chief, trust me, I don't have bad days in doing this job. You don't really feel like you're working. You know,
Oh, wow.
you know when you're getting so much enjoyment out of really being in the community and meeting new people. And I'm meeting a lot of people up here and just, you know, sharing those energies, especially if they're positive energies, and you just they kind of rub off on you, you rub off on them, and especially when you're bringing knowledge to them that they didn't otherwise know, that is putting them in harm's way. But when you're educating them and telling them about those things, and the light, you can see the light bulbs going off, you know, in their head, and they're like, wow, you know, I never even thought about that. You know, those are some of those moments when it is truly an honor to serve.
Awesome. We're gonna come back to you, Lieutenant Rowe. What are the most important attributes of a firefighter? Why and what?
Well, I'll say listening. Listening is so very important. Learning, and not being afraid to mess up sometimes, because you are going to mess up sometimes, and owning it, and not trying to blame everybody else for what you do. It's called accountability, and we all have to be accountable for who we are and what we do.
I like that.
Taking ownership.
I like that. I like that. What about you, Chief Dingler?
I think tenacity is one of my biggest attributes. There's no task that I won't try. There's no challenge, and being able to listen is very critical. But being able to communicate back to people what you wish for them, what you need them to understand, and accomplishment. It is so critical that we put in all those efforts and make each accomplishment worth, whether it's teaching an education class, even if it takes us 2 or 3 years to hear some young person say, I was able to get my family out, or we met at the mailbox, hearing those stories after the fact, because a lot of the things we do once the emergency is over, but the education portion that we do, we hear about whether we had results usually down the line. So staying your course, being able to accomplish your task, communicate to people with your goal, and be positive about your organization is very important.
I like that. Going to Captain Hall.
Well, I think first of all, this profession requires a great deal of integrity. We do deal with people in some of their worst moments. So being a person of good character, I think, is important. So good character, integrity, honesty, perseverance, empathy, being able to be empathetic to people that may not share our similar situation. I think also, like the others mentioned, being a good listener, being a good discerner. I think all those things are important. Those are good characteristics. Professionalism, loyalty, dedication, commitment. I think those are the characteristics that a firefighter should have and should display.
I like that. I think some folks need to come over to the fire department then. I'm just that's an inside joke. Okay, while we got you, Captain Hall, let me get what is your primary goal of the fire department?
What is my primary goal for the fire department? You mean my personal goals, or what I would like to see in the fire department?
What would you like to see?
Well, I certainly would like to see.
We can talk about your personal goals too.
Okay. Well, I think for the fire department as a whole, we've talked around this a little bit, but right now I think our department stands at about 162 members. I'm not sure, Chief, what those numbers are right now, but the last ones I checked. And we have 12 women on the department, 10 in the actual fire and emergency services who ride on the fire trucks. And then we have Chief Dingler and Lieutenant Rowe who do some special assignment type of things. That represents about 6% of our department. What I would like to see is those numbers increase. We are operating in a municipality that has over 100,000 people. And I think more than 50% of that population are women, specifically women of color. And I think that what I would like to see is a little bit more representation that models our community. Right now, I think Chief Dingler is the only female chief officer in our department, and there are 10 chief officer positions. She's the only chief officer, and we have no chief officers who are women of color in the department. I would like to see that change. And I think sometimes when we have these conversations around diversifying and inclusion, there's this misnomer that you are weakening the brand. I don't think that has to be the case. There are several people who are capable of moving the brand forward in a positive direction. I think those opportunities just need to be availed to them. So we have a new fire chief. I'm looking forward to him exercising his vision in the department. We've spoken on a couple of occasions, and I'm excited about the opportunity to work with him, because I think he understands intrinsically too where we are in terms of the numbers and what needs to happen. So I think he's really serious about creating the opportunity for people to step into those positions. So that's what I would like to see. I just want us to be a more diverse, more inclusive organization that mirrors the community that we serve. I want us to make sure that the taxpayers of this community are getting what they are paying for. And I think that we're positioned to do that right now.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you guys know that I'm going to have the opportunity to interview the new chief soon. We had moved it up, we moved it back, but that will be coming, and I'm looking forward to that. And giving him the opportunity, I think he's going to do a great job, without a doubt. I've done my homework. Even when I put the posts out there, I've done my homework. I'm all good with that. It's about our city. It's not about our personalities. It's about our city. And so I know we would do well with Chief Jones, Chad. So I'm gonna go with to Chief on that question.
I think for the fire service that I would like to see a definite increase in our budget so that we can purchase the necessary tools, equipments, and fire trucks that we need to perform our daily functions. It would also like to see an increase in staff for community risk reduction so that we can better educate, inspect, and make our businesses and our citizens safer. Because one of the things about fires, it's great to have a good response team during the emergency, but it's even best if you had a good prevention team in place but never had the emergency at all.
That's right.
I would personally, I can see based upon not just numerous years in the fire service that opportunities for promotions definitely grow. That the qualifications that we put ourselves through and have to develop and move forward and be representative in our community and serve the people. It took a long time. I've been in the fire service now going on 31 years, and it took a long time for me to get to that chief officer position. And I say it could have been different had different choices been made if we were more representative to our departments or our communities. And I look forward to seeing that change because, I have a great team in community risk reduction. Lieutenant Rowe is a solid rock person for her enthusiasm and her education and her care for the people. And I have two other lieutenants, and it helps when you have someone like Lieutenant Rowe. It moves people forward because they understand how important it is. And so my personal goals is to continue to serve in a chief officer capacity, serve at the hand of the fire chief, be a supporting for him and of the deputy chiefs, and support the mayor and council in the city of South Fulton because you have an excellent organization, an absolute need. There's no one who doesn't need the fire service, just that people don't realize they do till they have to make that call to 911. And they don't realize the auxiliary things that the fire department offers. We offer education, we offer inspections, we come out and do fire investigations. We are an integral part of the community, and we want to continue to be that. So I look forward just to continue to serve and move forward in my career.
Thank you. Lieutenant Rowe, we're gonna ask you the same question. Do you need me to repeat that?
Well, as far as personal goals, I'm finishing up my fourth and final degree. So hopefully I'll be done with that by next year. As far as departmental goals, I will say, it's an honor to work with Chief Dingler and the rest of our team, getting to learn from somebody that, is a wealth of knowledge and expertise, as well as, cares for this community. That's the main thing. I'm excited about us having a new fire chief. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's getting ready to do here for this department. The sky is pretty much the limit for him, as long as he has the vision. That's really what we want to see. Where is his vision, and how is he going to get it done? But other than that, I'm here ready to work. And help, like Chief said, move forward. The agenda. To make this a world-class department.
Right. Now, I heard Chief Dingler talk about some equipment, and you can answer this or you don't have to answer it. But I remember years ago when something would happen in the community, they would bring this big old truck out. Have you guys thought about buying, put in the budget to buy something just in case if you have a non-emergency that they don't have to bring the big old fire truck out?
It has been a consideration, but we're very, having that quick response unit. But in order to do that, we still have to supplement the staffing to do that because we need to ride 4 on that fire engine in that rules of fighting fire, having 2 in, 2 out. So it will be a matter of whether we can supplement staffing to have some quick response units, you know, in case the transport unit is not there, to lessen the wear and tear on the big trucks and everything. So it will be a matter of, in our development and in our future, whether we can consider a quick response unit. And I think we're just getting to that point where we can vision how we're going to develop those things. But we're in the process of hopefully replenishing our engines, because when we came, they were little, we had older equipment, and we just received our new ladder truck, and we have a few more engines to replace. But I think you'll see that in the future. But it's a matter of cost and staffing. So, you know, but yeah, it is expensive to run those big trucks, and you know, but it's very difficult too to make those decisions of, you know, having 2 people, but that may be a quick response versus keeping your 4-person team together.
Okay, I got a Facebook question, and I want to give a shout out. I know District 3, they did a renovation over there. Are there any other fire departments that's going to be undergoing some renovation and new stations? Because I live, let me say, I live over in the Cliftondales area, and I have to ride past Stonewall Tail, and so I ain't gonna put it out there, but y'all know what it needs. It needs some work over there.
Well, they're constantly assessing the city's assets, including the facilities, which include fire stations, and the new acquisitions of some city assets with Parks and Recs, the Art Center, and so forth. But the chief is constantly evaluating and prioritizing the needs of the fire stations. And there is no doubt there is a need for improvement in probably most, all but one fire station. And so we're going to give him the time to continue to assess and let the city manager and them decide what they can dedicate to enhancing our facilities. Because if you ask any firefighter, they want a new truck, a new station, and new tools and equipment every day. But and slowly we'll get there. So we hope to continue to evaluate those city assets and improve upon them.
Okay.
I want to, if you don't mind, I want to piggyback on what the chief has said. There have been several improvements that have been made over the last 2 years because there was a there's really like a master plan that has been put in place, and it's targeting some of the most significant challenges in the fire stations, and they've put some monies aside that are dedicated to making those repairs and upgrades. So they are actively working on that right now. We just had some things repaired in our station, so I'm sure they're going to work on Cliftondale very soon. They know what's going on over there, and they've ordered supplies, and they're working on it as we speak.
Okay, thanks. Have you guys do you guys do home checks for the elderly, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, just doing a well check, getting our seniors to up on top of things?
We offer the smoke alarms we offer 2 per every citizen of the citizens of South Fulton. We offer a guide in which talks about home inspections or home checks, and when people, and we try to go out and educate the seniors and HOAs. COVID's been a very downturn for getting out and getting people in a place to do that. But we do have those programs available to give smoke alarms. Currently, we do not have any of the CO detectors. We're trying to get in more supplies of the smoke alarms and CO detectors. And if any citizens, now we do a lot of talking to the citizens, but I would say some of our seniors probably call us the very least. But from the standpoint of wellness checks on seniors, we have not started a program that does that. But if anyone's worried about their senior, they can always call 911, and we'll definitely, our operations or someone will go check on them.
Okay. Look, we're gonna be winding up. It's been great I wish I can talk to you a little bit more, but I know you guys got to go. First of all, I want to thank all three of you women. I want to thank you for just doing an outstanding job. I want to thank you for just supporting the city of South Fulton. I stand behind you 100%. Even when I come after you and talk about you, I'll still stand by to support you. I want to say thank you guys, and just being a woman and just giving you your kudos out uh, for in the, this month, just to celebrate the women. In closing, I'm gonna go with Chief first, and then we'll go to the Lieutenant and then the Captain. And your last final words.
Well, first, we'd like to say thank you for the invitation. It was nice to get to speak with you and to voice our opinion what it's like to be a professional in the fire service, not just as a woman. And we continue to think that we will always serve with honor, provide the citizens of South Fulton with the best professional services, and that we are going to be just a world-class fire department and a world-class city. And I look forward to maybe seeing you in the future.
Thank you. Lieutenant?
I say it was an honor for you guys to invite me here on this meeting. I'm looking forward to working with you all and meeting you in person. And it's just been an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. And Captain Hall?
Well, I really just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity to talk with you and to the folks in the city of South Fulton who are watching. I want to thank you guys for the outpouring of love and support that I've received since the inauguration. More importantly, I'm still just a little old video country girl doing the best that I can to contribute something positive to our fire department. I look forward to the new administration that we have and working together with him to make this department great, because when we're great, obviously the citizens of this city benefit from that. I agree that I look forward to working with everybody that's on this call and the entire department to make this a world-class organization and for this to be a world-class city that has been, as that has been stated before, because I think that potential is there. And I just want to say thank you, Ms. Chatman, for doing the work that you do. We appreciate you, and that's it.
Again, we want to thank you, and thank you for being here today with us. And we look forward to talking to you again. You guys have a blessed and safe and relaxing evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.